And welcome to another episode of Lexx Education. It's the comedy science podcast where comedian me, Laura Lexx, tries to learn science from her nerdy, stupid, on-holiday brother Ron. He's so on holiday, he's not here for the intros and outros. And I've got a bad case of the SADS this week, so to stop this being 15 minutes of me harping on about how miserable I am, husband of the podcast, Tom, is here.
Yay, happiness.
It's been a fun week to be with me, hasn't it, Tom?
I always enjoy being with you.
That's not true, Tom.
Sometimes it's rubbish, but mainly it's really good.
You so had enough of being with me that you refused point blank to listen to this week's episode in preparation for this.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spoil it for myself.
What do you mean spoil it for yourself?
As in spoil my night by listening to it.
You can't say that because there's people, like anybody that hears this is listening to the podcast for fun.
Yeah, and they should, but they don't live with you. No one that lives with you should listen to your podcast. I think that's just a good rule for life, for everyone.
I used to listen to yours when you did them.
Yeah, that's weird. You shouldn't have done that.
Only because I fancy Matt.
That's just the least likely version of that being true. Every other option would have been more believable.
Robin is way less.
You and Robin are the same person.
Exactly. That's disgusting. Anyway, hello, Tom. Tom's my husband. Ron is still in Portugal with girlfriend of the podcast.
He's drinking port.
Probably. Porto Consuelo. We've had a lovely day in the sun today, haven't we, Tom?
Lovely in the park, playing games, friends, drinks.
Yeah, you had some beers?
Yeah, I've had a few.
I had a San Pellegrino and I didn't like it.
They're quite lemony.
It's too lemony. But then I was thinking, if this was alcoholic, I'd love it.
That's the fine line, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll accept anything for a bit of booze.
I think if you put that in a fancy glass, I'd have been like, ooh, delicious.
Yeah.
Coming out of a can, I was like, where's the sugar? What are you doing? What's this?
Well, maybe just think of it as a mixer from now on.
Yeah.
Splash of vodka.
I just prefer a Rio if I'm going to have a can of anything.
She loves a can of Rio.
I do love Rio. You're a Coke boy, aren't you?
Yeah, if I'm picking Coke. I also love anything with grapefruit in it.
Yeah, you do.
Like
you
a lilt.
Like
or not lilt
beer,
anymore, is it?
Is it not?
No such thing as lilt anymore. It's just a different type of Fanta. Other soft
it just
drink
lemon
brands.
Fanta?
No, it's not lemon Fanta, is it?
Grapefruit Fanta.
I think it's called grapefruit and pineapple Fanta or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, Lilt's dead, baby.
Lilt's dead. Lilt felt like...
Invincible.
Yeah.
Evergreen.
Lilt's dead?
No, Lilt's dead.
When did this happen?
Like in the last year or so.
I mean, I guess I never drank it, I didn't like it, but another one, too prickly.
Prickly?
Yeah, it's like a prickly tasting drink.
Oh, not this again. Laura describes all flavours as like positions in her mouth or like sensations. She can't describe flavours. She just says, it's too up. Oh, this sandwich tastes really wide.
Do you know what, though? Do you know what will really annoy you, because it annoys Ron all the time, is that the Discord will start talking about this week and about 80% of our listeners will go, I'm just like Laura. And then Ron goes, we have so many more Lauras than Ron. Listen to the podcast.
Yeah, and that's nice.
Yeah, I'm just finding my buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a nice day yesterday, didn't you? I took Charlie the podcast to watch you at work.
Yeah.
So we went to Brighton Open Air Theatre where the Noise Next Door were performing, and I took Charlie the podcast along because we were local and I didn't want to distract her with something else. She spent the entire time sitting there going, Dad! Daddy! Daddy!
Dad! And then at one point she went up to another little girl in the audience and they just pointed at each of us and went, Robin, Matt, Sam, Daddy.
Yeah, it was very cute.
Like, I know the band.
Yeah.
We're not a band.
No, you didn't do any songs.
Because of no amplification. Very hard to do music when you can't be loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I was fine. I enjoyed it. Like, I've seen you perform a lot of times, obviously. I'm a dedicated wife. But I think I like the kids' shows. They're weird.
Well, because no one's allowed to swear, not us and not the audience. It makes it all a bit more creative.
It's not dildos and, you know...
No, not like your filthy podcast full of bloody dildos.
Yeah, we were always talking about spaffing on things.
No, with your brother. How many rude things in this episode, Laura?
Not loads, I don't think. Do you know what, actually, and I shouldn't say this, but I think Ron is a fucking downer in this episode.
Oh, no.
One, I think he was just on a bit of a distraction about to go on holiday mode.
You're complaining about how distracted
but when I'm
someone
distracted,
gets.
I bring up the distraction. When Ron's distracted, he just goes quiet and
Just doesn't talk. What were you learning about? Are we meant to talk about what you're about to learn about in the episode?
Well, it's a recap episode.
Right.
Because...
You're revising for your exam.
Yes.
Yeah. I follow the podcast.
Yeah.
Based on what you tell me is happening.
we've got one more biology lesson, and then we've done the whole syllabus for all three.
It's amazing.
So because biology's taken a little bit longer than chemistry and physics, we've been recapping some of the early chemistry and physics in those weeks.
Sure.
So it's a chemistry recap today. What I'll do is in the outro, I'll tell you about what we learned and ask you about it, but I won't do it now because
that's
they haven't
big
listened
spoiler.
to you.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really spoil something we've already covered.
Yeah.
So
Spoil, just retreading old ground.
yeah, but I want to warn you, listeners, it's quite a low energy episode, and I think that's in part Ron seems quite distracted to me, and I wasn't that peppy picking him up. But also, why doesn't Ron edit out all the fucking gaps where we're just not saying anything?
Because he likes to leave the raw experience for the
He's
listener.
bad at it. Just make it faster. If I'd had time, I'd have re-edited it. But do you know what? You're just going to have a Ron-flavoured episode this week.
How many sound effects are you guys putting in these days?
Actually, do you know what? Ron actually put in quite a lot for him.
You're happy with it?
I was confused at first.
Because you just thought, oh, there's an actual pig in the room.
A sheep, Tom.
Was it? I was such a guess.
Because I was listening to it on a train, and I was like, why do I keep hearing a sheep? And then I realised Ron's got a cough in this episode, and every time he coughs, he's put a sheep noise in. He's cut the cough and put a sheep noise. But for a while, I was sitting on this train because I would listen to it on Friday, coming back from the store, and I was going, how the fuck is that sheep?
There's a sheep. The sheep must be on the train. We can't keep driving past sheep.
Well, I was confused. So anyway, I'll tell you one thing we can talk about.
Yeah?
Do you think it's out of order that Ron moved house without telling me?
Ron's moved house?
Right?
He didn't tell me either.
No, he's moved in with
He normally tells me
Max
things.
and Amelia.
Oh, has he? That's nice.
But don't you think
But
that's
weird,
crazy
though,
that
because
he
they've
didn't
just
tell
got
us?
married, isn't it?
Yeah, but Ron likes to spoon. You remember? He lived with us just after we had a
As
kid.
soon as we got the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just likes to be there for big life
Big
times.
events.
It's like a little limpet on the side of a happy cruise ship. Yeah, but don't you think that that's bad that he just moved house without saying anything?
I don't think it's bad. I think it's surprising.
Yeah, like if you loved each other, you'd tell each other, wouldn't you?
No. It's not.
You would just move house without telling me.
Not you. Oh, I live with you. I think there'd be other discussions to have.
But if we were moving house and your brother didn't find out until like after we'd moved. Actually, this is a bad example because you're a piece of shit about telling people anything.
Yeah, I just like. Also, it's different because Ron was like in a house share. It's not like he was. Like, he didn't buy a house and live there for 10 years. We're talking about he lived there for almost a year. And
but you still just mention these things in passing. I tell people everything about my life.
Ron and I only really talk about the Sirens TV show on Netflix. Where a load of Korean women have to survive on an island and then fight. It's rad.
Are you watching it separately?
No, we watched the first bit together and then I just want to watch the rest of it. And he says we will watch it together, but I'm getting itchy and I don't think we're ever going to see him again.
No, he's coming down with Girlfriend of the Podcast in a month or so.
Well, we better watch literally the second half of Sirens or I'll kick off. This
Yeah.
feels like a long intro. Is this long?
Oh, who knows, Tom? I think to be honest, it's good.
This is better than what you're about to listen to, listeners.
Well, the listeners will like it, though. I have quite a different taste in podcasts, I think, to the listeners. Because the ones where I'm like, was this boring? They're all like, that was really interesting. Where I'm like, yeah, it was just science. So there was...
Because they're listening to a science podcast.
Yeah.
They've decided to learn about science, whereas you obviously hate science.
I don't hate science. I hate the pretend bits.
It's not pretend.
Okay, you listen to the episode. Let's go. This feels like a real classic recording session doing intros, outros, quiz episode, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we still mainly do that, don't we?
I feel like it's a while since we did all three together. Because now that two of them don't have a quiz, and, you know, once a week we do a Patreon episode usually.
Yeah, true. We're busy peeps.
I'm quite looking forward to the election special next week. We'll have gone out, obviously, by the time people are hearing this, but...
The which special, sorry?
Election special.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You excited about the Euros final, Ron? You going to watch it?
Yeah, I'm getting forced into watching it.
Do you not just like it? I know you're not into football, but neither am I. But do you not just like it because, like, a big fun joint event is fun?
No.
Oh. Fair.
I think it happens too much with football. There's always football on.
Yeah, but this is like England and sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not a nationalist like you are.
Yeah, that's true. You watching the tennis?
No.
Are you going to watch the Olympics?
No.
I think we should get really into the Olympics this year, Ron.
I'm just quite uninterested in sort of pageantry and competition.
Oh. Do you want to just sit and watch a grey piece of flannel together?
No, I don't think we have to watch things together.
Oh, fine. Why don't you just move house without telling me?
I don't know why you care.
Because I just would have thought that was something that would come up if we were close and friends. I can't think of a single friend I've got that would move house without it coming up in conversation.
I just don't think you'd notice.
That's because you didn't tell me. How can I notice when you move thousands of miles away from me and don't tell me? I think Tom's cooking something and it smells delicious.
Can't be Tom then.
No.
Whee!
Tom doesn't make things.
Tom's a destroyer.
Yeah. So says my vagina.
Oh.
Might be cheese on toast. It smells so lovely. Hi, Gnocchi the cat.
Just buried her head.
Could be cheese crumpets.
She's not changed.
No, she's not changed. I can't wait to see her again.
She's a cutie.
Stroke her little tum-tum.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Ah, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Cuckoo-ca-cha.
Chemistry, is it, mate?
Yeah, what were we doing last time on chemistry revision?
The periodic table.
Yeah, slightly out of order. We had a good time.
Wait, is it chemistry?
Yes, because we just
Yeah.
did a biology quiz.
Why have I got no notes for the physics in between?
Because it's
who even
biology
knows
and
anymore?
chemistry.
No, but between chemistry and biology, I don't have any notes. I've got notes for 107, then 108 was Beck, 109. Where are your Where are your notes?
Maybe you didn't make any.
Maybe. Light bulb. So what we're going to do, Ron, we're going to do this chemistry, we're going to do one more physics, and then we're going to exam it.
Are we not doing any bio recaps?
Well, I thought we were just recapping, though, to keep them all in sync, ready to do the exam. I think let's just bang the exam and get on to A-level, man.
If this wasn't going to be a part of it, I think we should have had a better idea.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Ron, the whole podcast should have been better. But look, we haven't, we didn't, and we won't. So let's just mulch something out of the crappy building materials that we've got here.
Oh, that's why I was asking about Saturday before we got bogged down in this who's moving where business.
Hang on a minute. So just for the listener, this will have been in either the quiz for last week or the intros for the week before. Oh, it's some classic Lexx said Bollockery.
Because do you want to come to, I guess, my new house on Friday, and then we could do an exam there?
On the Saturday. Aren't we going to be doing like boat festival type things on the Saturday?
I said on the Friday.
On the Friday. Won't there be boat festival-y type things then too?
I'm working until like 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
So you could come over lunch
Yeah, maybe...
and do an exam at my house.
Well, it depends how far your house is from this boat festival.
It's 5 minutes from my old fucking house.
Yeah, but where's the boat festival going to be?
In the harbour, I should bloody think.
Well, how far away is that from your house?
Will you be driving or walking?
Don't know. What I could do is come via your house on my way down to Taunton, because your house is right by the motorway. Don't want to dox you. Let's plan this off the podcast. This doesn't feel like the content of the podcast, Ron. It feels like the machinations, the workings.
I think people enjoy that. It's like when you see the sketch lines on a sketch.
I don't know if the podcast charts reflect that belief. I think like all the ones that make people money are not this.
Are we in this for the money?
No, Ron, I think we're in it for the workload. I'm not really sure why we're in it. On the subject of money, I'm keeping all the Patreon money this month. So, sorry about that.
Okay. Because of the tea towels and stuff?
Yeah, and just the costs of all the software. I just realised, like, I've been splitting it 50-50, but I pay for everything, so I've actually made no money. So,
Yeah.
I've decided to keep this month's.
Okay.
It's fucking tea towels, man. I need to get on that. I want them ready for Cheerful Earful. I want them ready to buy at Cheerful Earful.
That's fair.
I'm going to do that. I've been saying that for months. What are you looking at? What are you doing?
Just looking at some pics.
Of what?
Laura, do you remember what we were doing last time on chemistry?
Yes, I've already said this. You asked me this 6 minutes ago. The periodic table and Mendeleev.
Sorry, yeah, and then we got bogged down in exam chat and who's moving where.
I'm not moving anywhere, but you knew that because if I was moving, I'd have told you. Also, let us know on social media if you think it's out of order that Ron would move house without telling me. Please. What?
I'm just trying to find where I am in the syllabus, because back in these days of notes, I didn't used to put it. But luckily, I can just search the words plum. That should give you a hint as to what we're covering today, Laura.
Plum pudding. Can we not recap all the bits that are not needed, though?
We already have.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Laura, talk me through plum pudding.
Was a theory that the... is it electrons or... that the protons were the plums sitting in a little pudding of atom.
Yep. No, opposite. Electrons were the plums.
Electrons were the plums.
Yeah, but this is not correct.
No, it's not correct.
Yeah.
And then they did a gold foil test.
Who did a gold foil test?
Rutherford?
Rutherford, indeed.
Rutherford did a gold foil test, and that proved that there were little holes in atoms, that they weren't solid things.
Jig that around. Are there holes in atoms?
Yes, because some things got through the gold foil and some didn't.
There's not a hole in the atom, is there? Well, you know what an atom looks like.
Okay, no, there's a gap between the electrons in their shells and the atom.
Absolutely. Yeah. You are correct there.
Yes.
What? When you say gold foil experiment, can you remember any details of that?
They rolled out gold foil real thin, like 1 atom thick thin, and then fired lasers. What did they fire at it? Can't remember what they fired at it. A laser of some kind. Radiation. Maybe radiation.
It was radiation. Can you remember what type of radiation?
Gamma radiation.
No.
Beta radiation.
No.
X radiation.
No. What you've effectively done is said C radiation, B radiation. What would the next one in that pattern
D
be?
radiation.
It goes CBD, does it? Well, I mean, sometimes fucking smoke every day.
A radiation.
Yeah, what's... Put it
Alpha
into...
radiation.
There we go.
Alpha radiation.
What's gamma radiation?
Is that the bad one?
They're all not great. It is the
can't remember.
particularly bad one, though.
Yeah.
That won't be in the syllabus, though. That won't be on the mark scheme. Banned one.
Yeah, I liked the radiation bit. I'm surprised that's not more in my brain. What are my notes on radiation? Gamma was the one with... I wish you'd stop coughing. Please make sure you edit all of that out.
It's probably not my episode.
It is. It's an odd one. Where are you, radiation? There's some angry graphs. Why did we do radiation? Was it quite early? Oh, for the millionth time, I wish my notepad was searchable. Maybe for A-level, do my notes on the computer. Then how would I draw things? I can't find radiation, Ron.
It doesn't matter. Gamma radiation is electromagnetic waves at very high energy. Do you remember what beta radiation is?
Well, no. If I can't remember what gamma is, then that's the only one I could remember. I'm not going to remember what beta is, am I?
Beta is high-speed electrons.
Yeah.
Alpha radiation are big particles, Laura.
With muscle.
Stop! You've got to stop ruffling around in that book.
And bitches. Oh, I found it. It was physics. We did it in physics, not chemistry.
Yeah, because it's physics.
Oh, well, why are we talking about it in chemistry then?
It's
Alpha
part of-
particles are 2 neutrons and 2 protons. Beta particle, high-speed electrons spat out of a neutron. Gamma radiation, not a particle. Electromagnetic radiation, high energy, short frequency, energy wave coming from a nucleus.
Absolutely, yes. So it's alpha radiation that Rutherford used, and these are huge particles getting fired out with the velocity that they were.
Sorry.
What you'd expect with the plum pudding model, what you'd have expected was for that particle to just smash right through the gold foil. It's like getting... You hear a lot of things where they say it's like getting hit by a train or whatever on a particular scale. But what actually happened is 99.99% of it did just pass straight through, but some of them were getting reflected off in crazy directions, remember?
Yeah.
Which proves that...
They were hitting something.
Yeah. This is like what we talked about, making bollards instead of a wall, remember?
Yeah.
We talked about that for ages, you didn't get it. You get it now.
Yeah.
Niels Bohr, played by Kenneth Branagh.
Humber.
No, it was
Neil
Kenneth...
was played by Kenneth Branagh. Niels Bohr is the name of the monster.
Very nice. That's
Thank
very,
you.
very nice. But no, Kenneth Branagh played him in Oppenheimer.
Oh. Did you like Oppenheimer?
I did, yeah. Have you seen it?
No, too long.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's relentless. It is very, very long, but there's very little breathing space in it.
Just a bit glooms for me.
Yeah, nobody sings or is a cartoon animal.
Exactly. If it's not Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I don't want to watch it.
Now that would be really, really good. Just Oppenheimer, but there's he just hallucinates the whole time. Maybe there's an apple with a face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Bridges did a really funny bit on Oppenheimer when I saw him live. No?
I think there's a pigeon on my roof.
Niels Bohr,
The pigeons have been really throwing all the moss off the roof lately.
That's nice of them.
There's moss everywhere in my garden.
He worked out that electrons were wanging about the outside of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ding!
James Chadwick then...
Oh, yeah, I remember the name Chadwick.
he then proved that neutrons exist.
How?
Doesn't say. Just says it happened 20 years after the nucleus became an accepted scientific idea.
He proved neutrons exist. With a very sharp knife.
Yeah, details of Chadwick's experimental work are not required.
Okay, fuck you, Chadwick. You're not even in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, more like Virgin Wick.
Yeah. Virgin short wick. A wick sucks up wax to be burned. Huh?
Chadwick. Was Chadwick in Oppenheimer?
No.
Dunno. It's hard to say. Anyway, what was happening? Oh yeah. 5.1.1.4, Laura. Relative charge.
This sounds like something that we got mad about.
I think you might have been stupid at it at first.
I choose to ignore that.
What's the relative charge of a proton?
+1.
Relative charge of an electron?
-1.
Relative charge of a neutron?
0.
Relative charge of an atom?
0.
Relative charge of an ion?
Depends.
Alright, we're moving on. You nailed that. Well done.
Yes!
5.1.1.5 size and mass of atoms. What's the relative mass of a proton?
+1.
1. What's the relative mass of a neutron?
1.
What's the relative mass of an electron?
0.
Yes, well done.
Yes!
Hang on, I'm just getting a work call. Let me drop him a message. What is the mass? How do you? We did this when we recapped the periodic table last week. Grand. Okay, Laura. 5.1.1.7. We're going to talk about the structure. Sorry. Okay, 5.1.1.7, electronic structure. Laura, I think we talked about this briefly, but sum up for me how electrons are organised around around the nucleus.
They are in shells around, and then each shell can contain up to 8.
It actually varies.
Oh, okay, it varies. So first of all, the electrons like to be solo.
Actually, Laura, look at your periodic table, and then you'll be able to tell me how many electrons are held in each shell.
Well...
Is it the acrossers or the up-downers that define the shell?
The acrossers.
Yeah, so how big's the first shell?
4. 10.
What?
2.
2.
2, Ron, it's 2.
It is 2. What about the next shell?
8.
And the next one?
8.
And the next one?
16.
Yes, okay, you get it. What's interesting is that in A-level chemistry, we'll find out why that is.
Ooh.
Teaser! Okay, that's that. You get that. 5.1.2.
Hang on, I wanted to explain about it being like bus seats, Ron.
Oh, go for it.
They all like to have their own space, but then once all of the single spaces are filled up, then they will start sitting next to each other. Atoms are always never alone.
But we're not talking about atoms, we're talking about electrons. The atoms are always never alone thing was completely different and unscientific.
Okay, and electrons, bus rules.
Yeah. Electrons like to be in pairs.
Well, no, they don't, though. Electrons like to be alone, but then they will be in pairs when the alone options have run out.
Electrons have very complicated relationships with each other.
Yeah, because if there's two electrons in a shell, they're not together, are they? They're separate.
Yes, but they do prefer to be in pairs, which is why covalent bonds get made between different atoms.
Yeah, it's pronounced covalent, not convalent.
I did say covalent, actually.
You said convalent, and everyone heard you, and is laughing at you.
How long have we been recording?
You haven't got any trousers on. We haven't been recording very long, 22 minutes.
God, that's not flying by.
Woof, Ron, woof. That's one of your woofiest ever.
Okay, we've done the periodic table. Laura, what's the definition of a metal and a non-metal?
A metal pools its electrons.
That's metallic bonding. Yes, but is that the definition of an element that makes a metal?
An element that makes a metal.
Take a look at your periodic table.
I'm looking at it!
Why did you take that as an insult?
I didn't. I just don't like to be chided when I'm doing something.
I'm not. I'm trying to help, which is something that you ask for, and then you get help, and you take
hadn't
offense.
asked for help in that instance.
Look at your periodic table and have a look at it! And take a look at where the metals are and where the non-metals are.
Yeah, so the metals, we've got them down the left-hand side, then all over the middle, and then they stop. They are not in the bottom or on the right-hand side. So that tells us that metals are not full-shelled electron guys. They are ions. They are reactive. They are not gases. They... What was that?
It's just a door closing.
I can see a pigeon.
Maybe you should ask it for help in this instance.
Hey, pigeon. What defines a metal? I really thought it was the pooling thing. They always form a positive bond. Give me one of the words in the sentence and I will put the rest of the sentence together around the word.
Do.
No! A useful word, Ron.
Positive.
Yeah, they do form a positive ions.
Yeah, that's not what you said there.
Come on.
Why do they form a positive ion?
Because they always lose electrons.
And why was it a helpful hint that I asked you to look at where they were in the periodic table?
No idea. Because they're most of the periodic table.
But which side of it?
Left.
Yep. And what's the difference between the left and the right-hand side?
The left has progressive policies and the right is largely backwards dictatorships full of morons.
Come on, the election's been. Move on.
We won. Get over it. The left What is it? What I said then about having loose electrons in the outer shells? They're not got full shells.
Yeah, but oxygen doesn't have a full shell either, but that's not a metal.
Okay. I don't know then.
Well, is that their propensity to lose electrons is a lot higher on the left-hand side. So if you've got a sodium atom, how many electrons does that have in its outer shell?
1.
It's very, very easy for it to lose that electron. Again, for reasons that we'll discuss in our chemistry A level. Oxygen, how many gaps does that have in its outer shell?
2.
Yes. Which means that it's much, much easier for that to... Well, the only thing that can really do is gain electrons. So therefore, sodium's a metal because it loses an electron, forms a positive ion. Oxygen, not a metal because it can't form a positive ion.
Ever?
Yep.
Wow.
We're now going to talk through certain different groups.
Like polonium? That's only got 2 gaps in its outer shell as well.
Yes.
So how does that work?
The difference between polonium and oxygen is what row is polonium in?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So you think about the...
so it's far away from the
Yeah.
positive charge holding them on, so it loses all 6 of its things easily.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you want, I can give you a little spoiler as to why oxygen finds it harder to lose electrons than sodium.
Because they're real close to its protons.
But sodium and oxygen are in the same row.
Yeah. No, they're not. No, sodium is 1 lower.
Sorry, what's the one above sodium?
Lithium.
Lithium and oxygen then. Lithium loses an electron, oxygen doesn't.
Yeah.
But the reason why there's a diagonal line of metals is because of that increasing distance in between, as you say, positive nucleus and negative electrons on the outer shell, so it gets easier and easier to lose them.
Yeah, okay.
Where's group 0, Laura?
Hydrogen.
Nope.
Is that the lanthanoids?
Nope.
Oh.
Groups are columns, up-downers.
Oh, I don't have a group 0.
Your group 0 should be your noble gases.
Oh, that is called 8A on my periodic table.
Your periodic table is very odd.
It's a periodic table. There's an episode title. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, organeson.
Tell me about noble gases.
They are very unreactive because their outer shells are full up to the brim with electrons. So they don't want to gain, they don't want to lose, they just want to do their thing.
Yep, it's very hard for them to do anything. They are inert. They have very few properties because
They're
of
like
this.
the Buddhists of the periodic table.
I don't think you know enough about Buddhism to be making that claim.
No, but you know, the general view of Buddhism is that they're quite
Yeah, they're
happy.
like the stereotype of Buddhists that white people have.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where the noble gases are.
Yeah. Group 1, however, they're the Sikhs of the periodic table.
I vaguely remember learning about Sikhism at school, and like the 7Ks.
Yeah, I want to say
Siddhartha
5Ks. And there's
Guru
one of them's a
Singh.
knife and you're not allowed to cut your beard.
Yeah, and then I feel like it's very rarely come up as an adult. I don't know. Actually, that's not true. I do know quite a few Sikhs, I suppose. It seems like a religion I'd like to hear more about.
They don't, yeah.
It's quite a peaceful one, I think, isn't it, Sikhism?
I guess. You don't ever hear about them.
No. I'm just not a fan of most organised religion, though, so I think once I dug into it, I'd go, this isn't for me either, but...
They all just seem like a lot of faff.
Yeah.
I find most things faff.
What just happened?
That was his girlfriend of the podcast sneezing.
Was it? Yeah. I thought Gnocchi had jumped on her or something.
No, Gnocchi's chilling down there.
Oh, yeah. Is that deck chair covered in penises?
No, eyes and noses.
Oh.
They are a bit dicky.
Yeah.
Tell me about Group 1, Laura. Which racial group do you want to profile that as?
The alkali metals, they are the mods of the thing. So these guys are very reactive. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. These guys super reactive because they've got 1 electron in their outer shell. They are ready to swing that bad boy like a mace at anyone that gets near them. Pew!
Yep, absolutely. What happens if you put them in water?
Fizz, they produce oxygen. Carbon dioxide. It fizzes. Some of them go on fire. As you get further down the table, they get more reactive.
Farty bubbles.
Farty bubbles. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what if you reacted them with chlorine? Let's say sodium and chlorine. Bless you.
You'd make an atomic bomb. You'd make bleach. Make a bleach bomb?
Why would it be a bomb and why would it be bleach?
It doesn't sound like it would be good, does it, putting sodium in chlorine?
And yet it's delicious.
Is it? Sodium chloride. Salt! You make salt, Ron!
Yeah, you would make salt.
Otherwise known as a bleach bomb.
Yeah, that's all good, isn't it? And then what about Group 7? And proper Group 7, not your stupid Group 7.
Now, this is Group 17, isn't it? But that you call 7.
Everyone calls Group 7.
Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine.
Yeah, what do you know about them?
They are also relatively reactive because they're good at gaining 1 electron.
Yeah, they are pretty reactive. They're actually very reactive.
Yeah.
How do they exist when they're in an element?
What the fuck is happening at your flat, Ron?
Nothing. Everything's under control.
It feels like nothing is under control.
Nah, it's all good.
What just broke?
Judith's just thrown a mug across the room in a fit of rage.
Does she hate fluorine, bromine, chlorine, iodine, and astatine?
What's your favourite halogen, babe? Chlorine.
Chlorine?
She says chlorine.
Sounded confused though.
Yeah. How do they nobble about when they're just on their own?
They are in pairs.
They are in pairs. Well done. Why are they in pairs?
Because of the only 1 gap electron, the electron that's single in their outer shell likes to pair up. Stop playing about! Have you dribbled down your front? Why are you
I did
wet?
dribble down myself a bit, yes.
You're wearing a grey t-shirt and it's so obvious. Fucking hell. I feel like I'm being so smart. Because they've got a single electron in their outer shell and that one doesn't want to be on its own, so it hooks up.
We're talking about Group 7 now, aren't we?
Yeah, I know it, but it's not 1 single electron, but it's like a spare one that doesn't have a pair in its shell, so it pairs up with the other spare one in the outer shell of another chlorine.
Yeah,
Because they have an odd number.
It's so funny how consistently our brains just like you know that famous, really deep picture that you see on Facebook sometimes, where it's like two guys pointing it, and to one person it's a 9, and to the other person it's a 6.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's so obvious that there's a gap. They only have one gap, so then they share an electron to fill that gap for each other. But to you see the electron on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before you get really upset, not a criticism, just interesting, isn't it?
Because the electrons are the characters, the gaps aren't the characters.
Yeah, but I see it as like seats around a table. So I see one as a very full table with one gap, and then when I see like sodium and lithium and stuff, I see just one person sat at a table. I see the table as a whole.
Oh no, I see like an empty like Saturn ring, and just like a little whizzy guy, just like, oh no, I'm all alone.
Yeah, man, I guess you're projecting.
Why? I have a full life with a beautiful family. And a
Don't
real
even know when your
stinky
siblings
dog.
are moving house, though, do you?
Make some fucking siblings at cunts.
Hey, we let you into book club. Ooh, how long have we got? Because the next one's a juicy one.
We've been recording for 38 minutes.
All right, we'll dally about in the murky water we're in now for a bit longer then, and we'll dig into the next bit next time.
Oh, we could dig in. We've got 15 minutes.
I suppose we're probably not going to do any more revish, so...
No.
All right, Laura.
Exam season.
Bonding, structure, and properties of matter.
Okay.
There are 3 types of bond that we're going to talk about. Well, there's 3 types of bond that aren't intermolecular. Yeah.
Intermolecular.
Can you remember what they are?
Electronic, ionic, covalent.
What's an electronic?
That is where they pool their electrons and all share them.
Okay, that is a type of bond, but is it called electronic?
No, that's metallic bond.
Yes.
What's an electronic bond?
There isn't one. You've made that up.
Did I say electronic? I was thinking metallic, but I think my mouth betrayed me and I said electronic.
You said electronic, but that's fine.
Metallic, covalent, ionic.
Awesome, right. Talk me through metallic. They pool their electrons, but why does that work?
Because then current can run through... No, wait, that's why I said electronic, because I was thinking about electricity, because that's why they make good conductors.
Yep.
I don't know why it works. There's just a big pile and they all just kind of blob on it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a reverse plum pudding. So you have the positive nucleuses rather, in the middle, and then you have negative electrons jamming them all together around it.
Okay, grout.
Yeah, it's only the outer electrons that are released,
Okay.
which gives metals different properties when they form this.
It's almost like a magnet, isn't it?
What, like with the positive and negative thing?
And then they just release it and then it like holds them all together, that like vroom, 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 vroom. Don't worry.
No, are you having a bit of a joke?
No.
Of course it's like a magnet. This is like how magnets work.
Oh. Then don't be horrible, be proud. I just discovered magnets.
You get some water.
No, we haven't got time.
Ugh. All right.
Dribbling down yourself and then you'll be more hydrated.
What's an ionic bond?
An ionic bond is when an atom's gap is filled by another atom's electron.
What?
It's when they take an electron off another one. And then the electron that the atom that took an electron off another one becomes negative because it's gained an electron, and the atom that lost one is positive because it's lost an electron, and so then they stick together.
Kind of. They don't necessarily have to go to each other, but yes. Well, it's just when 2 ions are stuck to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that it's not necessarily about the swapping of electrons. It's just about the pull between them.
Okay.
And it literally says in my notes, one has a positive charge, the other has a negative, so they're attracted to each other like magnets.
Yeah. Which I came up with independently. Like Niels Bohr.
Okay, and what about a covalent bond?
That is where they share an electron.
Just the one?
No. Share some electrons.
How many?
Up to 18.
No.
Up to. They share 2.
Yeah, they share a pair of electrons at a time. Wow. When you have something made out of covalent bonds, what type of particle does that make?
Gas. What type of hang on. Let me hear the question again. Type of particle. A molecule. A molecule,
Yes.
Ron. A molecule.
Yes. How many covalent bonds can the thing have at once? Maxis.
4.
Yes. What's the best molecule?
Carbon. Or
That's
silicon.
An element.
What's the best molecule?
What's the strongest molecule?
Diamond?
It is diamond. Why?
Because it's made of carbons, and so each thing is 4 covalent bonds, making it very strong, and it takes a lot of energy to break those bonds.
Absolutely. What's the strongest type of bond?
Covalent.
It is covalent. Well done. Yeah.
I think this stuff's in my brain, Ron.
I think it is. I'm actually quite impressed. And I think we'll stop there for the day.
Yeah, I feel very proud of myself.
Well done, you.
I'm going to go and pick Charlie the podcast up from nursery with a swing in my step.
Tell her about all your favourite molecules.
I was telling her about photosynthesis yesterday.
How did she find that?
I think she quite liked it because I was giving Mackie fresh water, and so when I empty Mackie's water bowl, I put it in the ficus, and she said, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, "Oh, because plants drink water." And then I was explaining to her about the water goes in, and then the leaves get the sunlight, and then that's how they get their food. And she said, "Plants drink water."
That's cool.
Yeah,
She's a smart kid.
she is so smart. Bye, Ron.
Bye.
Okay, so who else was thrown by the sheep noise? Did anybody else struggle with that for a little while? We gave you warning, so you've got that. So Tom, you obviously refused point blank to listen, so I'll tell you.
Yeah, I've just no interest.
So we were covering the early days of chemistry in today's episode.
The early days, as in chronologically.
Well, kind of, yeah.
So like the first guy went, you know what, this is made of something.
Well, sort of like that, but with atoms.
Oh, yeah.
So we were talking about atoms and how an atom is made up. Not made, they're not made. God makes them, or they all got made in the Big Bang or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can make ions. Can you destroy atoms? I think I'm thinking of energy. You
Energy
probably can
can't be
destroy
destroyed.
atoms. No, I think
Can only be
atoms can,
changed.
though.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you break stuff. No, that's not, because if you break it,
Because
it's sticking
splitting an
up.
atom is an atomic bomb, isn't it? So maybe atoms can't
No,
get
not always, is it? Every time an atom splits as an atomic bomb, that feels like a stretch.
Yeah, but I think atoms don't break then. Atoms, like, you break atoms apart, but you don't actually smash up the actual atom.
Are you using the word atom when you mean, like, nucleus or something?
No, the atom. That's a nucleus with electrons
Yeah,
around
but
it. That's
didn't,
an
like,
atom.
Rutherford split the atom? Isn't that the whole point?
No, Rutherford discovered what the atom... We actually looked at that in this episode. Rutherford did the gold foil, got some gold, right? And he rolling pinned it out really, really thin, like 1 atom thick.
Right.
And then shot gamma ray. Gamma ray? alpha
I mean, for the people that
radiation
the people
through
that
it.
just listen to this are going, how do you not know?
Yeah, well, fuck off, the people listening to it going, how do you not know?
Just to be clear, don't. Please keep listening to the podcast.
Oh, who cares if you do or don't? Not me
I
anymore.
mean, she does care. She does care.
Not today, I don't. Anyway.
But in general, she does.
Yeah, in general, I want to be loved by everybody all the time.
So just be careful of phrases like, fuck off, I don't care.
So he rolled out the gold really, really thin.
Yeah.
Then fired alpha radiation at the gold.
Yeah.
And then some of the alpha radiation went through it and some bounced back.
Yeah.
And this was how they proved that an atom is like a solid nucleus with the electrons booping about it, around it.
So he's proving that there is space in
There's
an atom
space
for
in an
radiation
atom.
to get through. That's very clever.
Yeah.
He didn't split the atom then, Rutherford. Who did that?
Oppenheimer, didn't he?
I mean, I'm not retaking... I don't know.
Niels Bohr is Kenneth Branagh.
Niels Spohr is Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
We talked about that in this episode.
Okay.
That's in the film, though, not in real life.
Okay, yeah. I didn't think Kenneth Branagh had much to do with actual
Who else did we
chemistry.
talk about? James somebody.
Earl Jones?
No.
McAvoy?
Nope.
Scientist or actor?
A scientist.
I'm not going to be useful.
No. He did something, but then he wasn't in Oppenheimer, so we were like, you're a piece of shit.
The
I haven't
band
seen
James?
Oppenheimer. Have you seen Oppenheimer?
No.
I'd have thought you'd have gone to see
I
that.
haven't really seen any films this year because we had a child, and so I've only been to the cinema like twice.
That's not true. I saw your receipts, Bar. You go all the time when you're away.
Honestly, not that often.
Have you seen Barbie?
No.
Me neither.
Haven't seen
You're
anything.
going to the cinema tomorrow, though.
I am. I'm quite excited.
I'm excited too. I'm going to have a night in at home on my own. Haven't had that for weeks.
What a delight.
It is going to be really nice, I think.
What are you going to do?
Play Minecraft.
That's what you did tonight.
Yeah, but you were here, so I felt like I was being judged for it. Tomorrow, you'll be off wanking in a cinema to Hugh Jackman with Matt, and I'll be here playing Minecraft with my sister. We're like the two cool married dudes that we are. Anyway, so that's what we covered this week, Tom. What else did we cover? We looked at types of bonds. Do you remember the types of bonds from doing
I want to
school?
say covalent.
That's one of them, yeah.
Ionic.
Yes.
How many more am I needing?
I think there's just one more.
Ionic bonds, covalent bonds, and... Oh, James.
No, metallic.
James Bond.
Yeah, I know. James
And also
Bond.
we were looking for a guy called James. It really worked. Metallic bond.
Yeah.
That feels dull compared to the other two.
I think actually the metallic bonds are the coolest ones.
But they have the most, like, already a thing name.
But it's because metals do it.
Right, yeah, fair enough.
But actually also ions are a thing too. So ionic bonding is...
Yeah, fair enough. It just feels more sciencey to say ionic and covalent, whereas metallic is just like, yeah, metal.
Yeah.
But that's only because of industry has led me to
But
believe
then
that
like
metal's just
you
a part
say
of life.
metal and you think about metal like steel
Yeah,
and girders
I do,
and stuff.
I do.
But actually loads of things are metals that don't really seem metally. A metal is defined by it forms a positive ion. Anything that does that's in a metal.
I think you're actually learning.
Yeah.
I think you've actually learnt some science.
Yeah, every now and again a little bit goes in. But you see, yeah.
I'm so interested to see, you know, you're actually going to take the test.
Yeah.
And is Ron going to grade it?
I don't know, because...
He doesn't know how to grade it. Or maybe he does.
Well, I think in GCSE it is just like yes or no. It's not like read this essay and decipher if you're thick or not.
I don't think it's multiple choice. I think it'll be like
I think some of them are multiple choice.
literally multiple choice.
Well, I'm not doing higher tier, mate. But it's not like it's multiple choice, but it's like, oh, write 2 sentences, and then as long as you've said, use this word and done this, you get the 2 points, you know?
But I would like to see what grade you get. Surely you're interested.
Yeah.
The grading, I mean, I'm not a listener, famously, won't do it. But as a listener, surely you'd be interested in what grade you achieve, Laura, from all the learnings.
I'm really only in this to hang out with Ron and make new listener friends.
Well, I would say Ron should grade it. And maybe there's an automatic grading system on like an online test or whatever, but also the listeners should do it as well. and then you can find out who has learnt the most on the podcast, whether it's
No,
you.
because some of the listeners are really smart and actually just know about science anyway.
Yeah, well, then they could be real funny and clever about themselves.
No, I am the smart one.
That's not how this show works.
I am the captain.
I'm the captain now.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else to bring up.
You normally do patrons?
Yeah, I forgot to write that though. Do you want to thank a patron?
Patrons. Yeah, last time we did this, I did patron saints.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to pay. The people in the film Tron that were paid include Jeff Bridges. Thanks, Jeff Bridges, for your excellent work in the film Tron.
I fancy Jeff Bridges.
Of course you do. We can't really think... Who the hell else is in Tron? No one famous. The woman who's in Tron was also in Caddyshack, but that's all I've got.
Check out my Caddyshack. I don't know what Caddyshack is. It's a horror film.
No. There's Tron Legacy as well.
What's Caddyshack? Big Lebowski?
No, Jeff Bridges is in Tron
he in
and
both?
in The Big Lebowski. He
And
is.
Did
No, Jeff Bridges is not.
Why did you bring up
Because
Caddyshack?
the woman in Tron is in Caddyshack.
What is Caddyshack?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I want to know.
I don't want to get into the details of Caddyshack right now.
Check out my Caddyshack.
I do want to hear it sung again and again. Is that what song
Gravel
is
Pit.
that? Sorry.
It's Gravel Pit by the Wu-Tang Clan. Check out my gravel pit, the mystery unraveling as we go.
Yeah, that's... And you just went straight to Caddyshack there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It fits...
What's Caddyshack about? Golf? Have you seen it?
No, I just know she's in it.
Who is she?
I don't know, I just know that the woman in Tron is also in Caddyshack.
Oh.
I can look up the details of the film Caddyshack if you want.
No. Yeah.
Let's really stretch this episode out and just finish on a...
Stretching it out, Tom. This is always how big it was meant to be.
Whoa.
Love Shack, B-52s?
That's what I was thinking when you said Caddyshack.
Oh.
Yeah, it is about golf.
Oh. So is it like a shed that the caddies live in?
A young caddy wants to pursue a scholarship at an elite country club so he can join a college. However, to achieve his goal, he must get in the good books of Judge Smales and ace a tournament. Bill Murray,
Should we watch Caddyshack tonight?
Chevy Chase, Roddy Dangerfield, and Cindy Morgan, who I believe is also in Tron. There we go.
Let me see Cindy Morgan.
That was her Not Now.
Gosh.
Well, she died in December 2023. Rest in peace, Cindy Morgan.
Oh, the day after my birthday. Her birthday was. Before she died in December 2023.
She did die at 69 years old, though, so that's fun.
That's not as old as you'd like to be, is
No,
it?
but 69 is funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, patrons.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff Bridges. And Cindy Morgan.
R.I.P. Thank you, Tom. Do you want to plug your tour, Tom?
Yeah, if you've enjoyed my insistence on not listening to the podcast that you all enjoy, come and see The Noise Next Door on tour. We're really back at it again in the autumn, coming to a town that's possibly near you, but if it's not, don't complain. We don't really decide where we go, we just cast everywhere, and then they say yes or no, and most of them say no, but we come to the places that say yes. Comedy!
Comedy. Come and see my tour. You already are.
That's very, very good and funny stuff in your tour.
Can you hear shouting?
I can hear very light talking.
Oh, okay. Would you like to say class dismissed? Do your best Ron impression.
You want me to do Ron doing class dismissed?
Yeah.
Not do me doing class dismissed. You want me to be Ron doing
Okay,
it?
well, let's hear your one.
Class dismissed.
It's very peppy. Now let's hear Ron's one.
Class dismissed.
Yeah, that is the level of energy that the listeners have come to enjoy. Okay, how would you like to end the episode?
Yabba dabba doo, bitches!